Chapter 11. Continuous layers of schemes. Let's see who's more cunning. When Kakashi saw the white snow rabbit, he immediately went on high alert because the enemy was hiding nearby. Teacher Kakashi, Naruto whispered. It seems there are ninjas around here. Yeah, Kakashi agreed with Naruto and said, Protect Mr. Tazuna. What? Sasuke beside him was furious. His mind was filled with questions. Were there enemies around here? Where? Why didn't he know? Why couldn't he detect them? Why could Naruto find them? How did Naruto discover them? Just then, a large sword came spinning through the air with a whistling sound, and the noise was extremely frightening. Everyone get down! Naruto shouted a warning. At the same time, he dashed to Tazuna's side and pushed Tazuna to the ground. Thanks to Naruto's timely warning, everyone easily dodged the attack. All they had to do was lie down on the ground, and the sword missed its mark. Not far away, a burly man appeared. He had half his face wrapped in a bandage and was bare-chested, displaying his well-developed muscles. The spinning sword landed in his hand, and as soon as he grasped it, his eyes were filled with killing intent. Yo! Isn't this Zabuza the hidden mist rogue ninja? Kakashi started in a teasing tone, but then his voice turned serious. Encountering a guy like you, it seems I have to use this eye of mine. Saying this, Kakashi put his hand on the forehead protector over his left eye. I bet you're Kakashi, the copy ninja of Konoha, Zabuza said coldly. I've heard that you possess the Sharingan. What? Sasuke was shocked again and thought to himself, only those from my Uchiha clan can have the Sharingan. Could it be that Kakashi has the Sharingan too? I really don't want to fight you today, Zabuza said. As long as you hand over that old man, I'll let you Konoha ninjas go. Do you think that's possible? Kakashi retorted. At the same time, he pushed up his forehead protector, revealing his left eye. Kakashi suddenly opened his left eye, and a red pupil shone brightly. Sasuke stared at the red pupil in Kakashi's left eye. It was the first time in so many years that he had seen the Sharingan on someone else. I'm honored to fight against the legendary Sharingan, Zabuza said, unable to hide his excitement. What an honor! Ninjutsu. Hiding in mist technique. Zabuza jumped onto the water and infused a large amount of chakra into it. Suddenly, thick fog enveloped the area, blocking everyone's sight. Form a defensive formation. Naruto woke Sasuke and Sakura up. The three of them held kunai and stood guard beside Tazuna. As the fog grew thicker, Kakashi's figure, only 4 or 5 steps away, was gradually swallowed by the fog. Eventually, they couldn't even see him. Do you know how many vital points there are on a human body? Zabuza voice suddenly came from beside their ears. The throat, the spine, the heart, the lungs, the carotid artery, the subclavian artery, the liver, and the kidneys. There are a total of 8. I'm going to choose one of you, and then choose one of the 8 vital points. Who will be the lucky one that I pick? And which vital point will be attacked? They could only hear Zabuza voice but couldn't see him. At this moment, Sakura was so frightened that she trembled, breaking out in a cold sweat and her heart pounding wildly. Suddenly, there came a whooshing sound through the air. Zabuza abruptly appeared, holding the cleaver sword in front of Tazuna. Since Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura had formed a defensive formation with their backs to each other in front of Tazuna, Zabuza now appeared behind them. Kakashi was greatly shocked. Just as he was about to turn back to defend, Naruto spoke up. I've long guessed that you'd show up here. Tazuna took out a kunai and said simultaneously, You're wrong. There are more than 8 vital points in the human body. There's another place that's very vulnerable. What? Zabuza was surprised. Thanks for coming right up to me and sticking your butt out. It's perfect, Tazuna said with a sly smile. The secret of Konoha's taijutsu, 1,000 years of death. As soon as the words were out, the kunai in Tazuna's hand stabbed straight at Zabuza but hitting the target and piercing deeply. White smoke billowed from Tazuna's body, and he transformed back into Naruto's appearance. Naruto said with a smile, I've hidden that old man away in advance. This was just a disguise using the transformation jutsu. At this moment, another Naruto vanished into thin air. It was just a clone jutsu used to deceive the enemy. Hee. A large amount of water gushed out from Tazuna's and the whole figure instantly disintegrated into a pool of transparent water. Zabuza flashed to Naruto's back, raising the cleaver sword high in his hand. At the same time, he said, What you stabbed was just my water clone technique. As the cleaver sword came down, about to strike Naruto, Kakashi leaped over, holding a kunai to parry the blow. Zabuza suddenly exerted force, twirling the cleaver sword vigorously through the air. He swung it, and directly sliced Kakashi in half at the waist. Just as Zabuza was about to gloat, Kakashi's severed body also turned into a pool of transparent water. Did Kakashi use the water clone technique? Zabuza was shocked. He never expected that Kakashi could use the same technique as him. That's right. I just copied your water clone technique with my Sharingan. At this time, Kakashi emerged from behind Zabuza pressing a kunai against his throat. However, do you think I'm that easy to deal with? Zabuza instantly disintegrated, and his whole body turned into a pool of transparent water again. What Kakashi was still holding was actually another water clone of Zabuza. At this moment, another Zabuza with the cleaver sword in his hand emerged behind Kakashi. Zabuza swung the cleaver sword with all his might, slashing horizontally at Kakashi, determined to split him in two. Hee hee, Naruto suddenly laughed. Do you think the me who used transformation jutsu to turn into Tazuna is the real me? After saying this, he was enveloped in white smoke and instantly disappeared. This was another clone jutsu. Suddenly, white smoke rose from below. Zabuza sensed something was amiss and looked down. To his surprise, a large rock had transformed into Naruto. Let me take a good aim. Naruto was lying on the ground, right between Zabuza feet. Holding a kunai, he mercilessly stabbed at Zabuza buttocks. Under a serious threat to his vital parts, Zabuza gave up the attempt to kill Kakashi. He forcefully twisted his waist with his abdominal strength and dodged Naruto's stab at his crotch. However, the kunai hit Zabuza thigh, and a stream of blood gushed out immediately, dripping on Naruto's face. Seizing the opportunity, Kakashi turned around and attacked Zabuza making him step back several times. Naruto, you're so strong. Sakura showed a look of disbelief. Sasuke was completely shocked. He never expected that Naruto, just a genin, could get involved in a battle between jonins. What's more, Naruto unexpectedly managed to wound Zabuza. This achievement can really be described as unparalleled in history. Chapter 12, The Future Hokage. The strongest genin. A legend in the ninja world. Invincible under the heavens. Damn it, I didn't hit the buttocks, Naruto said with a fierce expression. As expected of a jonin. You managed to dodge my 1,000 years of death at such a critical moment. You won't be so lucky next time. Kakashi looked at Naruto in shock. Even Kakashi barely managed to deal with Zabuza, yet Naruto had managed to injure him. Zabuza stared at Naruto and said, What's your name? Any ninja who can make me bleed is worthy of being written in my notebook. The future Hokage. The strongest genin. A legend in the ninja world. Invincible under the heavens. Naruto declared his name in a heroic tone. I'm Naruto Uzumaki from Konoha village. Ugh. Sakura gave Naruto a look as if he were an idiot. She had thought Naruto was strong just now, but now seeing him boast so shamelessly, she thought he was still the same idiot as before. Are you serious? Kakashi couldn't stand it either and muttered to himself, I can't believe that such a Naruto could stab a jonin. Kakashi recalled the previous battle. Zabuza had first used the hiding and mist technique, creating a thick fog around them. That was when Naruto had started to prepare. Naruto first hit Tazuna. Then he created two shadow clones. One clone pretended to be him on the spot, and the other transformed into the appearance of Tazuna. His real body used the transformation jutsu to turn into a rock. After that, Naruto waited for an opportunity to attack. Kakashi thought to himself, why does Naruto like to use the 1,000 years of death so much? Did I teach him badly? It seems I need to teach him something else next time. Naruto, you idiot! Sakura shouted. You said you're going to be the future Hokage. How can you be the strongest genin at the same time? A genin can never become the Hokage. Stop talking nonsense. Ugh. It's a bit hard to explain. Naruto was instantly stunned and thought to himself, I didn't say something wrong, did I? Why does it seem like everyone doesn't accept it? What exactly went wrong? Myself. Introduction just now was so cool. Naruto Uzumaki. I'll remember you, Zabuza said with a fierce look in his eyes. He tore a strip of cloth from his pants and bandaged the wound on his thigh to stop the bleeding. You're really blessed in 3 lifetimes to remember my great name, Naruto said proudly, carried away by his own success. So you deserve to die, Zabuza said as he instantly rushed towards Naruto, emanating a dark, killing intent. You're as weak as a monkey, yet you dared to leave a wound on me. He raised his cleaver sword and chopped down at Naruto. At the brink of death, Naruto still shouted defiantly, that just means you're even worse than a monkey. Naruto wasn't panicked at all because Kakashi was by his side. He had successfully enraged Zabuza. With Kakashi around, Zabuza actually skipped over Kakashi and chose to kill Naruto first. This already showed that Zabuza had lost his composure. In a battle between jonin, once you lose your rhythm and composure, you're bound to lose. Sure enough, Kakashi stepped forward and engaged Zabuza in a fight. In terms of taijutsu, Zabuza with his cleaver sword should have had the upper hand, but at this moment, Zabuza was being pushed back by Kakashi. Zabuza felt increasingly strained. The cleaver sword in his hand became incredibly heavy and seemed to be hard to handle. Zabuza thought to himself, that damn brat. I have to get him out of my mind, or I'm doomed to lose. Zabuza gathered his courage and fought while retreating. He planned to lure the enemy deeper and lead Kakashi to the water's edge. Zabuza glanced back at the water surface. He had already set up a booby trap there, just waiting to entice Kakashi to step into it. Teacher Kakashi! Naruto suddenly shouted, don't get close to the water. There must be something fishy there. What the hell? Zabuza Momochi gritted his teeth. What's up with that brat Naruto? How the hell does he know there's a trap by the water? Hearing this, Kakashi quickly disengaged from the battle and kept his distance from Zabuza Momochi. Naruto, Kakashi asked, how did you know there was something fishy by the water? Zabuza has been retreating towards the water. I just thought his move was very strange, Naruto continued. We have to be on guard. Kakashi was stoked. He never thought Naruto would be such a badass among the 3 students. Although he was just a genin, his combat experience and awareness were top-notch. Kakashi thought to himself, Naruto is even better than Sasuke. Before taking over Team 7, I wouldn't even have dared to think about it. Humph, do you think I'm helpless just because you don't get close to the water? Zabuza Momochi stood on the water surface, quickly forming hand seals with both hands. Seeing this, Kakashi quickly said, everyone, hide behind the big trees. Water release. Water Dragon Bullet Jutsu. Zabuza Momochi stood on the water surface, which gave him a great advantage in using water release. However, since Kakashi was far from the water source, he couldn't fight head-on and had to avoid the attack. Suddenly, the water raged as a huge water dragon soared into the air, kicking up a 10-meter high wave and surging towards Kakashi. The surging water rushed into the jungle. Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all hid behind the big trees, dodging the surging water. At this moment, looking at the suddenly reversed situation, Naruto thought, no, I gotta come up with a game changer, or I won't be able to deal with that guy. After Zabuza Momochi finished using the water release ninjutsu, he was about to use the ninjutsu again when suddenly Kakashi rushed out and directly jumped into the water, submerging himself. Underwater, Kakashi surfaced and said, what's going on? Why is this water so heavy? I can't even swim. Kakashi, I'm so disappointed in you. I didn't expect you to rush in like this, Zabuza Momochi said. Water release, water prison technique. As the water prison technique was cast, a large water ball surged around Kakashi, wrapping his whole body inside. Kakashi struggled inside the large water ball, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't break free from the restraint. It's useless, Zabuza Momochi said. This water prison has my continuous chakra input. Even if you're a jonin, you can't get out. Hee. Kakashi, trapped inside the large water ball, said, who said I'm a jonin? I've said it before. I'm the strongest genin. What? Zabuza Momochi broke out in a cold sweat. Had he been tricked again? What are you doing capturing my students? Kakashi flashed behind Zabuza Momochi and said fiercely, you can come at me, but you're not allowed to lay a finger on my students. Just then, white smoke billowed from Kakashi, who was trapped in the large water ball, and he transformed into Naruto. It turned out that Naruto had used the transformation jutsu to turn into Kakashi first. He then rushed straight to the water's edge, jumped into the water, and triggered the booby traps set by Zabuza Momochi. Naruto had long known that Zabuza Momochi only set one booby trap, and that was the water prison technique. As long as he could trick Zabuza Momochi into using this jutsu on himself, Kakashi could attack without worry. At this moment, Zabuza Momochi really wanted to tear Naruto limb from limb to vent his anger. Chapter 13, You Must Be the Best Ninja in Konoha. Deep down, Zabuza Momochi was extremely eager to kill Naruto to vent his anger. However, with Kakashi glaring at him from behind, he had no choice. He was forced to cancel the water prison jutsu, allowing Naruto to slip away right under his nose. Before running away, Naruto specially flashed a bright smile at Zabuza Momochi. Damn it! Zabuza Momochi turned around to defend himself. Although he blocked Kakashi's attack, due to being in a disadvantageous posture, he still got injured. With great difficulty, he broke free from Kakashi's scuffle and reopened the distance. Since they were on the water surface, and there was water everywhere nearby, water release ninjutsu had a huge advantage. He planned to use water release for a final fight. Zabuza Momochi formed hand seals. Kakashi also formed hand seals. Zabuza Momochi was greatly shocked. He was shocked that Kakashi was forming the same hand seals as him. But he quickly regained his senses and continued to form seals. Kakashi imitated Zabuza's actions, from the hand seals, posture to movements, mimicking him exactly. Zabuza Momochi was now a bit jittery. The sense of frustration Naruto brought to him was too strong. Now facing Kakashi, he was a bit absent-minded. At a crucial moment, Zabuza Momochi noticed a figure appearing behind Kakashi. Fixing his eyes and looking closely, it was actually Naruto. It's that brat. Why is he behind Kakashi? Zabuza Momochi's speed of forming hand seal slowed down. Water release. Great waterfall technique. Kakashi's ninjutsu was completed first. The water surface was stirred up into huge waves. The surging water carried tremendous force and swept towards Zabuza Momochi like a storm, flattening dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. It was like the flood hitting the Dragon King's temple. Zabuza Momochi, famous for water release, was tossed about by the water flow. Taking advantage of the victory, Kakashi threw 4 kunai in succession, accurately hitting Zabuza Momochi's 4 limbs. It seems that Zabuza Momochi at this time couldn't even avoid the kunai. It seems that he had lost the ability to fight. Suddenly, 2 flying needles flew out, stabbing straight at Zabuza Momochi's neck. Immediately, he fell straight to the ground. Someone had struck secretly and killed Zabuza. Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all looked in the same direction. From that direction, a masked person walked out. Judging from his height, which was about the same as Sasuke's, he should also be a child. That mask you're wearing, are you a pursuit ninja from the Mist Village? Kakashi asked. That's right, the masked boy said. Zabuza is a rogue ninja from our village. I've been waiting for the right moment for a long time, and killed him at the crucial moment. Now I'm going to take his body back to the village to report back. Kakashi walked over, crouched in front of Zabuza's body, and after a few inspections, Kakashi confirmed that Zabuza was indeed dead. All right, Kakashi said. Zabuza is indeed dead. You can take the body, Naruto stepped forward and said. On the condition that you let me make a hole in him to let the blood out first. Naruto was extremely ruthless. He leaped over directly and stabbed the kunai in his hand straight at Zabuza's heart. The masked boy was shocked. He flashed to Zabuza's side and caught Naruto's kunai with his palm. The kunai pierced through the masked boy's palm. The masked boy was extremely dexterous. Disregarding his injured palm, he turned around and delivered a side kick to Naruto, pushing him back. The masked boy picked up Zabuza. Just as he was about to leave, Sasuke dashed behind him and kicked him in the head. Sasuke's kick knocked off his mask, revealing the gentle and handsome face of a young boy. The situation had taken an unexpected turn. The boy couldn't figure out where he had exposed a flaw and why his scheme had failed. The boy took several steps back and assumed a fighting stance. With a resolute look in his eyes, he formed a hand seal with one hand. Ha ha ha, just surrender, Naruto said as he crouched beside Zabuza, pressing a kunai to his neck. If you don't, I'll stab through Zabuza's neck. Kakashi was astonished and thought to himself, is Naruto really that merciless? Wasn't he a chasing ninja? Sakura asked, looking confused. Why has it ended up like this? Naruto explained, he's not a chasing ninja at all. He's Zabuza's accomplice. But he attacked and killed Zabuza, didn't he? Sakura pressed on. How could he be Zabuza's accomplice? That only means Zabuza isn't really dead, Naruto said proudly, chest out. He must have used some ruse to make Zabuza seem dead, attempting to deceive us and then take Zabuza away. Once he recovers, they'll come back for revenge. What a wicked plan. The boy looked deeply at Zabuza and said helplessly, Can I ask you a question? How did you figure out I wasn't a chasing ninja? I had no idea if you were a chasing ninja or not, Naruto said proudly. I just wanted to make a hole in Zabuza's body, but you stopped me. That's enough to prove Zabuza isn't dead, and you're not a chasing ninja but Zabuza's accomplice. Am I right? So, this is what a ninja from Konoha is like. Just as the rumors say, incredibly merciless. The boy's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. He didn't seem inclined to surrender. Think it over. If you dare to form a hand seal, you'll see Zabuza's head flying the next moment, Naruto said, grabbing Zabuza's hair and pressing the kunai firmly against his neck. Put your hand down. If I see you forming a hand seal, get ready to meet Zabuza in the next life. Put both hands down. Naruto roared. Who knows if you can form a hand seal with one hand? Stop breathing hard, too. Who on earth could form a hand seal with one hand? Kakashi mused. I've never even seen anyone capable of that. What's going through Naruto's head to make him so wary? The boy smiled slightly, and the fighting spirit in his eyes faded. His voice was gentle as he said, Naruto Uzumaki, that's your name, right? Huh. Naruto didn't understand why he was asking this. You must be the best ninja in Konoha, the boy said helplessly. It was a mistake for us to go against you. TCH, Sasuke muttered, annoyed but speechless. Naruto was truly in the spotlight at that moment. Will you surrender? Naruto asked. Can you spare Zabuza? The young man retorted. As long as you let Zabuza go, I'll surrender. Don't answer a question with a question. You can only choose to surrender or fight, Naruto said, gripping the kunai in his hand tightly. I'll decide whether Zabuza lives or dies based on your choice. Sakura took a step back. At this moment, she felt strange about Naruto. The Naruto in front of her was quite different from the one she knew. Right now, Naruto was terrifying, so terrifying that he seemed like a stranger. Chapter 14. I'm well, aware of my limits. The young man surrendered. He closed his eyes, let his hands hang down, as if he were at their mercy. Naruto gave Sasuke a look. Sasuke understood. Although he was annoyed, he still did as told. He darted behind the young man and knocked him out with a palm strike. At this moment, Zabuza feigned death, and the young man was subdued. Kakashi finally let out a sigh of relief. Unable to hold on any longer, his legs suddenly gave way and he collapsed to the ground. Teacher Kakashi. Sakura was shocked and quickly ran to Kakashi's side. She looked him over for a long time but couldn't find any wounds on him. Sasuke. Naruto. Come, and see what's wrong with Teacher Kakashi. What happened to him? Sakura shouted. Naruto took out a bundle of ropes from his backpack and tied up the unconscious young man tightly. Naruto knew that this young man was named Haku and had the ability of Kekkei Genkai. If they hadn't resorted to underhanded methods, it would definitely have taken a great deal of effort to subdue Haku. After Naruto finished his work, he finally let out a sigh of relief. Compared to Kakashi fainting, Naruto thought it was more important to tie up Haku first. Don't be worried, Naruto said. Teacher Kakashi is okay. He just used too much chakra and is suffering from exhaustion. This is your first time seeing it, but you'll get used to it later. Sasuke asked. Naruto, how do you know so much? Naruto was at a loss for words for a moment and quickly made up an excuse. Teacher Mike Guy from Team 3 told me. Sasuke asked. You know the Jonin from Team 3? Oh no. Once you tell one lie, you have to tell another to cover it up. Naruto stammered. Well. Haha. Actually, Teacher Mike Guy and Teacher Kakashi are life and death friends, really good friends. Let me tell you secretly, don't tell Teacher Kakashi. One day I accidentally met Teacher Mike Guy. After he knew I was Kakashi's student, he invited me to have ramen and told me a bunch of Teacher Kakashi's secrets, including the fact that Teacher Kakashi is especially prone to running out of chakra after a fierce fight. Mike Guy said that Kakashi always has to lie in bed for 3 days after a big battle, Naruto said with an awkward smile at this time. At this time, Kakashi, lying on the grass, had a completely dark face. Although he couldn't move, he still heard what Naruto said and cursed inwardly. Damn Mike Guy, how dare you mouth me to my students. I'll settle the score with you when we get back to the village. Naruto didn't think too much. He just made up a reason to deceive Sasuke and Sakura, but he didn't notice that Kakashi had heard what he said. After learning that Kakashi was okay, everyone felt relieved. Naruto ran into the depths of the jungle and retrieved Tazuna, who had been hiding. Looking at Zabuza Momochi, who looked like a ferocious demon, Tazuna asked, What should we do with these two who came to assassinate me? Sakura said, Normally, we'd send them back to Konoha, or hand them over to the chasing ninja from the mist. Either way, they'll probably end up dead. Sasuke held up a kunai and said, It'd be simpler to just kill them right away. Hey, are you serious? Naruto thought to himself. Sasuke, you haven't even awakened the Sharingan. If you want to kill Haku now, it'll probably postpone the timing of your awakening. Geez, you guys are so cruel. You always want to kill someone, Naruto said with an innocent look on his face. Sasuke was utterly confused. Who was it that held Zabuza hostage to force the young man to surrender just now? And who was it that kept yelling about cutting off Zabuza's head? Sasuke thought to himself. Humph, anyone has the right to call me cruel, but not you, Naruto. You're even more ruthless than me. Seeing Naruto's silly look at this moment, Sakura felt that Naruto had returned to his old self. There was no longer a sense of strangeness, nor any fear. Naruto! Sakura shouted angrily. How dare you say that about us? Who was it that was shouting about killing someone just now? That was a strategy, a ruse, Naruto quickly explained. I was just scaring them. Meanwhile, Kakashi, lying not far away, couldn't move his body or speak. He could only silently groan in his heart. You three, stop arguing and take me somewhere quiet to rest. Oops, we seem to have forgotten about Teacher Kakashi. Naruto suddenly exclaimed as he remembered that Kakashi was still lying there. Tazuna carried Kakashi on his back. Sakura took care of Kakashi. Sasuke carried Haku, and Naruto carried Zabuza. The group then headed to Tazuna's house and finally arrived at their destination. After a night's rest, Kakashi finally recovered a great deal. Naruto had an outstanding performance in the battle the previous day. He not only coordinated well with Kakashi, but even engaged in a fight against a Jonin. He saw through the enemy's feigned death plan, prevented them from rescuing Zabuza, and captured Zabuza's companion. He could be said to have made the greatest contribution. Kakashi praised Naruto, and Naruto looked extremely proud. At this moment, the most dissatisfied person was Sasuke. Naruto had stolen the show, while he himself had not shown anything. Looking at Naruto's beaming face, Kakashi sighed inwardly. With Naruto's performance, it won't be long before I have nothing much to teach him. Sigh. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi said seriously. After yesterday's battle, what insights have you gained? Naruto is very strong, Sakura blurted out. Hee hee, Naruto said arrogantly, right? Right. Tisk, Sasuke turned his face away. I don't mean that, Kakashi said. Although Naruto performed well, you all need to have a clear understanding of your own strength. Especially you, Naruto. Remember, pride leads to failure. Don't slack off on your training just because of one victory. Whoa! Naruto said excitedly. Are we starting training? I'm ready. As a future Hokage, I know my strength's upper limit very well. You wouldn't even believe it if I told you. Chapter 15, I'll teach you. Kakashi, leaning on a cane, strolled on the tree trunk. Since the tree trunk was perpendicular to the ground, Kakashi's body was parallel to the ground at this time. It seemed that he had overcome gravity and was walking step by step towards the treetop. No way! Sakura felt extremely incredulous. The trick is to control the chakra on the soles of your feet well. You can even do something like this. Kakashi, leaning on a cane, looked like a patient, but he continuously performed various difficult moves and even walked onto the branch in an inverted posture. Look! Kakashi was like a bat hanging upside down on the branch at this time. His feet were firmly stuck to the branch. Keeping his feet up and head down, he said, "You three can just try and see who can reach the highest point. Considering that this is your first time practicing this content, it's impossible for you to be as calm and relaxed as me. You're allowed to have a running start. Let's see how high you can rush." Ah dash! Naruto let out a deep shout and took on the challenge first. After a running start, he leaped onto the tree trunk and then pushed off with his feet forcefully. But after only taking 3 steps, he fell down. This stimulated Sasuke's competitive spirit. After a running start, he leaped onto the tree trunk and successfully took 15 steps on the tree. Finally, he still fell down. Sasuke made a beautiful somersault and landed in a safe posture without even a single hair out of place. Ah dash! Sakura shouted. "Sasuke-kun, that somersault of yours just now was so cool." Naruto and Sasuke looked in the direction of the sound and saw that Sakura was already sitting upright on the treetop. Sakura's current position was on the tree more than 50 meters above the ground. She was waving and greeting Naruto and Sasuke proudly. "Wow!" Kakashi exclaimed. "Sakura has amazing talent in chakra manipulation." "You too," Kakashi said in a contemptuous tone. "One of you says he wants to be the Hokage, and the other is still a descendant of the Uchiha clan. Now you're both lagging behind a girl." Naruto showed a helpless expression and thought to himself, "Teacher Kakashi, your reverse psychology won't work on me." Sasuke looked extremely unconvinced. His eyes were firm, and his expression seemed to be saying that he must surpass Sakura, surpass everyone, and do his best. "Well, I'll go back and rest first. Come on, you guys." Kakashi had somehow come down from the tree, which even startled Naruto. He looked like a patient, but he could still appear and disappear mysteriously. Naruto sighed inwardly. Sure enough, he's Kakashi. Even when he looks like a sick cat, we can't afford to underestimate him. After practicing for a while, Sakura felt bored. This training was too easy for her and almost had no difficulty, so Sakura also left. Sasuke was out of breath. He secretly glanced at Naruto and found that Naruto had hardly made any progress and still could only take 3 steps on the tree trunk. Sasuke looked up at the tree he was using for training. He had successfully taken 2 steps on the tree trunk, far ahead of Naruto. Humph! Sasuke sneered and thought, although Naruto far surpasses me in combat awareness, he is far inferior to me in chakra control. Shadow Clone Jutsu! Naruto suddenly used the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Suddenly, a row of 10 Narutos appeared, and 9 of them are shadow clones. Ah dash! Ah dash! Ah dash! 10 Narutos each found a tree out of 10 trees, and were all frantically training. While walking on the tree trunks, Naruto kept shouting, "Ah dash!" Sasuke stared with wide eyes, unable to believe what he was seeing. Did one really need to use clones during training? It was really beyond belief. After the training was almost over, Naruto dispelled the Kage Clone Jutsu. Immediately, a wave of fatigue washed over him. Unable to hold on, Naruto slumped to the ground instantly. Gritting his teeth, Naruto stood up and charged forward again, dashing towards the towering tree. He leaped onto the tree trunk and walked on it as if on flat ground, taking 26 steps in total. What? Sasuke exclaimed in shock and even forgot that he was also in the middle of training. Naruto felt it was not enough. He continued to form hand seals and said, "Shadow Clone Jutsu." This time, Naruto created 19 shadow clones. Including his real body, there were a total of 20 Narutos on the field. These 20 Narutos each found a tree to train on, and once again, there was a bustling training scene. Under Sasuke's stunned gaze, the 20 Narutos, including the clones, were working hard. When Naruto dispelled the Kage Clone Jutsu, this time he collapsed right on the ground. The fatigue was so overwhelming that Naruto's eyelids almost closed. Under Sasuke's gaze, Naruto stubbornly stood up and charged forward again, successfully walking 41 steps on the tree trunk. Sasuke felt a great deal of pressure. He really didn't expect Naruto to have such an ability to accelerate the training progress through shadow clones. Sasuke finally understood Naruto's intention. The clones created by the Kage Clone Jutsu had physical forms and seemed to be able to participate in the training together. After dispelling the Kage Clone Jutsu, the experience gained by the clones during training could return to the real body. Sasuke swallowed hard. He felt that he really needed the Kage Clone Jutsu. If he could learn it, he could multiply his training results and improve his strength earlier to kill that man with his own hands. Shadow Clone Jutsu! Naruto used the Shadow Clone Jutsu again, this time directly creating 29 shadow clones. Naruto! Sasuke suddenly called out Naruto's name. First, he glanced at Naruto, then shyly turned his head away, looking as if he had something to say but hesitated. Sasuke? Did you call me? Naruto asked in confusion. What's the matter? Sasuke stammered. Can you teach me? Sasuke, this really isn't like you, Naruto said with a big smile. When did you become so hesitant? Sasuke felt a rush of blood to his head and forced himself to suppress his anger. He shouted, Can you teach me the Kage clone jutsu? Naruto was stunned and remained silent for a long time. If you don't want to teach me, just forget it. Sasuke turned around and planned to continue training alone. Haha dash! Naruto burst into laughter, tears streaming down his face. Sasuke was extremely annoyed and thought to himself, Naruto is really too much. He has won teacher Kakashi's recognition and has strong combat skills. If you don't want to teach me, why are you still laughing at me? Damn Naruto. Sasuke. Naruto stopped Sasuke and said seriously, I'll teach you. Sasuke was taken aback. He thought he might have misheard. Sasuke, come here, Naruto said. Kage clone jutsu is a kinjutsu in Konoha, but it's actually not that difficult. I can teach you all about it. But how many clones you can create largely depends on your personal constitution. I'm kind of special. I can create dozens, or even hundreds, of Kage clones. Just then, Sasuke closed his eyes and a smile spread across his lips. Sasuke mused, Naruto isn't that tough to get along with after all. Chapter 16, The Battle of Opening the Eyes. Naruto was full of playfulness and transformed into Sasuke's instructor, imitating Kakashi's tone and saying, Sasuke, you've done great. You're learning fast. I'm sure you'll be ready to go on your own soon. Sasuke felt quite ill at ease listening to this. No matter how he listened to it, it just sounded off. Shadow Clone Jutsu. After making the hand seals, Sasuke narrowed his eyes and successfully released 2 clones, which stood on either side of him. Great job! Naruto exclaimed. Sasuke, you're truly a genius. You learned Kage clone jutsu so quickly. Sasuke looked at the 2 shadow clones he'd released and was deeply dissatisfied. He then asked indifferently, Naruto, why can I only release 2 shadow clones? Do you have some secret you're not sharing with me? Naruto instantly got annoyed and roared, You successfully performed the jutsu. How could I possibly be holding back? Sasuke thought about it and realized Naruto had a point. Since the jutsu was successfully performed, there couldn't be any deception. But when he saw Naruto easily creating dozens or even hundreds of shadow clones while he could only release 2, the gap was just too huge. Seeing Naruto all puffed up with annoyance, Sasuke scratched his head. He knew he'd said the wrong thing but was too embarrassed to apologize, so he changed the subject and asked, Naruto, why did you laugh when I asked you to teach me Kage clone jutsu? Naruto's annoyance instantly disappeared, and he couldn't help bursting into laughter. Ha ha ha. Hearing Naruto's inexplicable laughter, it was Sasuke's turn to get a bit angry. Well, how should I put it? Naruto said in a pretentious manner. Normally, you're so cold and aloof, always looking so tough. I never thought you'd ask someone for help. With such a big contrast, how could I not laugh? Ugh, how boring. Sasuke thought there was some profound meaning, but it turned out to be such a silly reason. He instantly lost interest. In the following time, Naruto and Sasuke continued their training without a break from morning till night. The number of shadow clones Naruto released for training kept increasing, even exceeding 50. The results of his training were visibly growing. In just one day, he managed to walk on the tree trunk for over 100 steps, surpassing Sakura's achievement. Sasuke released fewer shadow clones, only 2. His training progress couldn't match Naruto's. However, Sasuke had extremely high talent and a strong will. His training results always closely followed Naruto's. The 2 were perseverant and spurred each other on. Finally, at midnight that day, they successfully reached the top of the giant tree, walking on the tree trunk for over 300 steps. They had a deeper understanding of chakra manipulation, laying a solid foundation as ninjas. Naruto, we were so focused on training that we forgot Kakashi-sensei is still in bed. Yeah, let's go back and give them a surprise. They'll never imagine we'd make such rapid progress in training. Naruto and Sasuke returned to Tazuna's house and reported the good news about their training progress. They really shocked Sakura and Kakashi. Lying in the hospital bed, Kakashi said weakly, I never expected you to complete your training so quickly. At the same time, Naruto thought to himself, I thought this training would stump Sasuke and Sakura, so I could have a few days to recuperate. It seems I have to get out of bed early. Teacher Kakashi, Naruto said full of energy. What do you need us to do next? Kakashi thought for a while and then said, Zabuza has been captured and locked in the fishing shed. His injuries won't heal in a short time. Gato probably won't pose a threat anymore. We'll complete the mission and return to Konoha once Tazuna finishes. What? This mission seems so easy, Sakura said with a smile. Sasuke lowered his head. For him and Sakura, this mission was indeed easy because Naruto had taken on most of the pressure. I'll go out for a walk, Sasuke said and left the house, heading towards the forest. Watching Sasuke leave, Naruto thought it was time. It was time to help Sasuke unlock the Sharingan. So Naruto said, "Teacher Kakashi, you should have a good rest. I'll also go out for a stroll and come back for dinner." Kakashi said to Sakura, "Sakura, you'll follow Tazuna to guard the bridge today to prevent Gato from launching a surprise attack. As for Naruto and Sasuke, let them rest for a while after their training." "Yes, Teacher Kakashi," Sakura replied and then followed Tazuna out, heading to the under-construction cross sea bridge. Naruto sneaked quietly to the area near the fishing sheds. There were 2 fishing sheds here, usually used to store fishing gear or boats. "Luckily I made arrangements in advance," Naruto said, looking at the fishing sheds. "I propose to lock Zabuza and Haku up separately to prevent them from colluding and escaping if they were together." "I locked up Haku alone to help Sasuke," Naruto whispered. "Sasuke, you can't escape this fight with Haku. Without Sharingan, you'll never catch up with me, and I need you to fight side by side with me. In the future." In the jungle, Sasuke took out a kunai and carved a portrait of a person on a tree stump. The person in the portrait was Sasuke's older brother, Itachi Uchiha. Seeing this familiar face, Sasuke was filled with anger. This was the man he must kill with his own hands. Sasuke didn't hesitate to hurl the kunai at Itachi's portrait. Still enraged, he rushed up and started punching, kicking, and stomping on the portrait. Just then, Naruto was hiding nearby, holding his breath and watching Sasuke pummeling the tree stump. He thought to himself, does Sasuke have such a strange hobby? Sure enough, Sasuke is. Spun around to look. Here we go, Naruto thought to himself, and then quietly slipped away because the good show was about to begin. A killing intent. Sasuke was a bit surprised. He felt a strong killing intent locking onto him, as if someone wanted to kill him. You actually killed him. That person was so important to me. A young man appeared in the distance and walked forward while saying, I'm going to kill you. So it's you. Sasuke clearly didn't expect this person to appear in front of him. It was the young man who had previously worn a mask and impersonated a chasing ninja. He was the companion of Zabuza Momochi, named Haku. Weren't you locked in the fishing shed? Sasuke immediately became vigilant, for if Haku could escape, it was highly likely that Zabuza Momochi could too. Haku began to make hand seals. Sasuke felt the air turn cold. Haku said emotionlessly, Secret Jutsu. Demonic mirroring thin ice. The surrounding air became frigid, and Sasuke exhaled white puffs of air. He exclaimed, It's so cold. Right in front of him, ice mirrors suddenly appeared out of thin air around Sasuke. The ice mirrors were extremely thin, rectangular in shape, and about as tall as a person. These ice mirrors were over a dozen in number, completely surrounding Sasuke. Chapter 17. I, Sasuke Uchiha, am the strongest ninja of Konoha. You actually killed him, Haku said with a look of hatred in a determined tone. You took away the meaning of my life, so I have to kill you. Sasuke assumed a battle stance and thought to himself, he was clearly locked up in the fishing shed. How could he have escaped? Could Zabuza Momochi be nearby? At this moment, Haku's face was gloomy. It seemed that two emotions, anger and sorrow, were brewing in his small body. Sasuke felt something was definitely off at this moment. The young man in front of him seemed intent on giving it his all. Wow! Naruto, hiding in the dark, had a look of watching the show on his face. He was cheering for Sasuke in his heart and proudly thinking, Sasuke, after today, you'll awaken the Sharingan. You should thank me. Haku slowly walked forward, his steps very slow. Sasuke didn't dare to make a move. He saw Haku's body slowly merge into the ice mirrors. Even Sasuke thought this jutsu was incredible. A dozen ice mirrors floated in the air, encircling Sasuke. But the ice mirrors couldn't reflect Sasuke's appearance. Only Haku's figure was reflected in all the ice mirrors. What jutsu is this exactly? Sasuke quickly analyzed the current situation. The 5 major attributes of ninjutsu are wind, fire, lightning, earth, and water. But the secret jutsu used by this young man didn't belong to any of these attributes. He watched as Haku slowly raised his right hand. Sasuke quickly went on guard, but he didn't have time to react. Sasuke then felt himself being intensively attacked, and the attacks came from all directions. Doesn't hurt. Sasuke took a closer look and saw many bamboo skewers on the ground. What kind of weapon is this? Sasuke was very confused. How could a ninja use bamboo skewers as a weapon? Not only was Sasuke confused, but Haku himself also looked stunned. There were obviously thousands of steel needles in his ninja tool bag. Each steel needle was extremely hard and sharp, easily piercing the skin and penetrating the acupuncture points, causing people to die in excruciating pain. Someone swapped my steel needles. This thought instantly popped into Haku's mind, but he really couldn't figure out who would replace his steel needles with bamboo skewers. Who would do such a thing? He. At this moment, Naruto, hiding in the dark, was holding a cloth bag in his hand. Inside were Haku's steel needle weapons. Naruto whispered softly, Sasuke is still relatively weak now. To take care of him, I had to replace all of your steel needles, Haku. Otherwise, he'd definitely kill Sasuke. If something happens to Sasuke, I won't be able to explain it to his brother. At this moment, Haku was extremely angry. Even without the steel needles, he could still take your life with the bamboo skewers. Haku hid within the ice mirrors. With his extremely fast movement, he shuttled among more than a dozen ice mirrors. Sasuke could do nothing because Haku's movement was so fast that Sasuke couldn't even catch a glimpse of him. As Sasuke took a step forward, Haku continuously shot more than a dozen bamboo skewers from behind. Fortunately, the bamboo skewers weren't very lethal and didn't cause any injuries to Sasuke. When Sasuke looked to the left, Haku quickly moved to the right through the ice mirrors and specifically attacked Sasuke from blind spots. Naruto watched for quite a while and found something was wrong. Haku couldn't hurt Sasuke with the bamboo skewers, so Sasuke was not in mortal danger and his potential couldn't be stimulated. Well, it seems that I still have to take some risks if I want to obtain the Sharingan, Naruto thought. He picked out 100 steel needles, only 1/10 of the total amount, put them in a cloth bag, and threw it directly into the battlefield. The cloth bag landed in front of the ice mirror. The cloth bag that appeared out of nowhere attracted Sasuke and Haku's attention. At this time, both of them knew that there was a third person hiding at the scene. Who is it? Who on earth is hiding nearby? Sasuke became more and more nervous. Haku stepped out of the ice mirror, picked up the cloth bag on the ground, opened it, and found that it was full of his own steel needles, just a smaller quantity. After picking up the 100 steel needles, Haku returned to the ice mirror. Sasuke quickly made a move to stop Haku from entering the ice mirror, but Sasuke's movement was so slow that he was simply unable to stop him. In Haku's eyes, all of Sasuke's movements were as slow as a snail. After getting the steel needles, Haku was like a tiger with teeth. Steel needles are far more lethal than bamboo skewers. When they pierced into the skin, it was like being stung by a bee, and the pain went deep into the bone marrow. Sasuke's expression immediately changed. Naruto was counting the steel needles. The number of steel needles stuck in Sasuke's body was almost close to 100. Naruto thought to himself, it's time for me to make my appearance. Go to hell! Haku roared angrily, and threw all the last handful of steel needles at Sasuke. Sasuke was in too much pain to resist. At the last moment, he closed his eyes helplessly, but there was no pain like being stung by a bee on his body. Sasuke opened his eyes and saw a familiar back. It was Naruto's back. Naruto stood in front of Sasuke and used his own body to block all the steel needles for Sasuke. Naruto showed a determined look in his eyes and said, Sasuke, can you still stand up? Sasuke nodded and stood up again, fighting side by side with Naruto. It's you! Haku was still a bit afraid when he saw Naruto appear, but then he thought that Zabuza was already dead, and there was nothing left for him to fear. Naruto, be careful. That guy suddenly showed up. We don't even know how he escaped, Sasuke warned. Naruto knew very well, because all this was planned by him. Some time ago, Naruto sneaked into the fishing shed where Haku was being held and used the transformation jutsu to transform into Sasuke's appearance. The imposter Sasuke entered the fishing shed and saw Haku tied up. At that time, Haku's face turned deathly pale with fear. At that time, the imposter Sasuke actually had a blood-stained bandage in his hand. The imposter Sasuke showed a strange smile and said to Haku, I'm Sasuke Uchiha, and I killed Zabuza. The Uchiha clan is Konoha's most outstanding ninja clan. Naruto's just an underdog in Konoha. What did you do to Zabuza? Haku shouted hoarsely, What did you do? Humph, the imposter Sasuke said insidiously. Zabuza, known as the Demon of the Mist, is already dead in my hands. I cut off his head. After saying that, the imposter Sasuke threw out a blood-stained bandage. Haku recognized this bandage. Zabuza usually covered his mouth and nose with this bandage, like a face mask, and he would not take it off easily. Zabuza's close, fitting bandages were stained with blood. Apparently, someone had slit Zabuza's throat, and the gushing blood had soaked the bandages. Ha ha ha. Naruto, posing as Sasuke, let out a wild laugh. Ha ha ha. I, Sasuke Uchiha, am the strongest ninja in Konoha. Even Zabuza, the Demon of the Mist, has been killed by me. After his little act, Naruto, still in the guise of Sasuke, quickly slipped away. Eha! Haku let out a heart-wrenching scream. Using all his might, he finally broke free. He picked up the blood-soaked bandage, his face grim with grief, and rushed into the forest. Chapter 18. You finally awaken the Sharingan. One after another, those Konoha ninjas all deserve to die. Since he had run out of steel needles, Haku took out bamboo skewers from his ninja tool bag. He exhaled a puff of cold air onto the skewers, instantly freezing them hard. Naruto was stunned. He hadn't expected such a change. He accused Haku, saying, You're so sneaky. When did you acquire this ability? I didn't even know you could freeze bamboo skewers just by exhaling on them. Sasuke, you're so useless. Naruto turned around and said, See that guy? He's getting stronger and has gained new abilities. Where's your Sharingan? Hasn't it awakened yet? How do you know about the Sharingan? Your clan in Konoha is the only one that has the Sharingan. Who doesn't know this? While Naruto was bantering with Sasuke, Haku launched a fierce attack. The frozen bamboo skewers shot towards them like a dense rain of needles. Several ice skewers pierced Naruto's back, instantly distorting his expression. This time, they really played with fire and got burned. For Haku, Zabuza was the meaning of his life and the belief that kept him alive. Several years ago, when Haku was still young, he awakened the ability of the ice release Kekkai Genkai. This ability represents war and killing. People with Kekkai Genkai abilities were unwelcome in some areas and might even be executed. War and killing had brought too much pain to the ninja world, and this pain had brewed even more misfortune. People afraid of war hated ninjas and everything related to them, including those with Kekkai Genkai abilities, even if the one who awakened the Kekkai Genkai was just a child. When someone discovered that Haku had awakened the Kekkai Genkai ability, the first one to raise the butcher's knife was his father. With his mother desperately protecting him, Haku finally escaped from his father's knife. Victims afraid of war eventually raised their knives against innocent children, thinking that they could end this distorted world. Little did they know that the world would become even uglier. On a snowy winter day, Haku met Zabuza. Just a glance at each other as they passed by, and they both realized that they were both people who had lost their homes. Two homeless wanderers came together. Seeing Haku's fierce offensive, Naruto knew that he had touched Haku's reverse scale. This was not a good thing. One wrong move, and they might end up dead at Haku's hands. Multiple Kage Clone Jutsu. Naruto formed hand seals and released the multiple Kage Clone Jutsu. Instantly, more than 30 shadow clones appeared around him. Using the shadow clones as shields, he blocked the ice skewers thrown by Haku. We can win, Naruto said. Even if Haku has become stronger and gained new abilities, he needs to exhale onto the bamboo skewers to freeze them. This takes time for preparation and reduces his attack frequency. Sasuke, I'll use the clones to distract him. You find his weakness. I've been looking for his weakness non-stop, but his speed is too fast. I can't keep my eyes on him. Sasuke widened his eyes. It's useless. Even if there are two of you, you won't make it out alive today. Haku kept exhaling on the bamboo skewers, freezing them, and then throwing them out forcefully. Naruto could only keep using shadow clones to block them, constantly creating time for Sasuke. Multiple Kage Clone Jutsu. Multiple Kage Clone Jutsu. Multiple Kage Clone Jutsu. Naruto used multiple Kage Clone Jutsu continuously for over a dozen rounds. Each time, he sent out dozens of clones to block Haku's attacks. Now his chakra was almost depleted. Gasping for breath, he said, Sasuke, aren't you done yet? If this goes on, I'll kick the bucket right in front of you. Sasuke faced no less pressure than Naruto. He gritted his teeth and held on. As time passed, Sasuke noticed that Haku's movements seemed to slow down. Naruto, can you still hold on? Sasuke said. My eyes seem to be able to keep up with him. I might as well kick the bucket, Naruto said gloomily. You have no clue how agonizing it is when his ice bamboo skewers stab you. It's like being stung by a wasp. If a dozen ice bamboo skewers stab you at the same time, you'll die of pain on the spot. Just then, Haku continuously shot out ice bamboo skewers, and a dozen of them pierced Naruto's vital points all over his body. Naruto writhed in pain and lay on the ground. Soon, he stopped struggling and became motionless. At this time, Naruto weakly said, Sasuke, I can't hold on anymore. You have to live on. Please, tell Hinata. I like her. After saying that, Naruto closed his eyes and breathed his last. Naruto seeing his comrade die, Sasuke was filled with grief and indignation. His eyes changed dramatically. His pupils turned from black to red, and a tomo emerged in his pupils. He successfully awakened the single tomo Sharingan. After awakening the single tomo Sharingan, Sasuke found that the whole world had changed. The wind seemed to stop, the leaves seemed to stop swaying, and even Haku, who was as fast as lightning, now moved as slowly as a crawling turtle. I've got you, Sasuke said. His eyes successfully kept up with Haku's movements. No matter how swiftly Haku flew and shuttled through the ice mirrors, Sasuke's eyes could keep up with him. Fire release. Great Fireball Jutsu. Sasuke quickly formed hand seals. He focused his energy in his core, puffed out his chest, and exhaled. The flames from his mouth formed a huge fireball and shot towards Haku. Sasuke stared intently and checked his result. The fireball just now had successfully burned off half of Haku's clothes, and even left a burn mark on Haku's calf. I can attack him. Sasuke instantly gained confidence. Since entering the battle, not to mention counterattacking, he couldn't even keep up with Haku's eyes and could only stand there and take the blows passively. Now that the great fireball jutsu could hit him, he finally had the ability to fight back. Haku was furious. He took out all the bamboo skewers from his ninja tool bag at once, blew a deep breath on them, and froze each one, turning them into extremely hard ice bamboo skewers. This section is not over yet. More exciting stuff is on the way. Without a word, Haku directly shot out all the remaining ice bamboo skewers, which turned into a dense rain of ice spikes like a fairy scattering flowers, covering a large area. Fire release. Great fireball jutsu. Sasuke cast the fire release ninjutsu again, burning a large number of ice spikes to ashes. However, there were too many ice spikes, so he had to keep retreating to avoid them. Ouch! Naruto, with ice spikes all over his body, sat up in pain and angrily said, Haku, you're going too overboard. I'm already a goner in the battle. Why are you still attacking me? Don't tell me you're imitating me and even want to whip a dead body. Haku was shocked. Naruto had been hit by so many ice spikes, yet he was still jumping around as if nothing had happened. Actually, only Naruto himself knew that the nine-tailed fox was sealed inside him. The unique chakra of the nine-tailed fox always helped Naruto repair his wounds. His external injuries always healed at an incredibly fast speed, and his physical ability to withstand blows was beyond that of ordinary people. Haku angrily asked, Why aren't you dead yet? It's a long story, Naruto scratched his head and said. It all started on the day I was born. A fox came to my village. Chapter 19, The essence of a ninja is deception, and ninjutsu is the art of. Haku seemed not to hear Naruto's words. He continuously shuttled back and forth among multiple ice mirrors, seemingly preparing a killing move. Hey, what on earth are you planning to do? Naruto had a bad feeling and quickly said to Sasuke, Sasuke, shoot fire directly at the ice mirror. Just as Sasuke was about to use his fire release ninjutsu, Haku transformed into a white phantom and rushed towards him at high speed, intending to take out Sasuke first. After all, Sasuke's fire release posed a great threat to the ice mirrors. In fact, Sasuke had long wanted to shatter the ice mirrors all at once. However, Haku's footwork was simply too strange, like a ghost, roaming among the ice mirrors and launching surprise attacks unexpectedly. That's why Sasuke had been trapped in the ice mirrors all this time. With me here, you won't be able to touch Sasuke. Naruto formed hand seals and shouted, Multiple Kage clone jutsu. So what if you have fast footwork? Even if you're so fast that I can't see you, I'll just fill this space with Kage clones and squeeze you so tight you can't move. Naruto made up his mind and channeled a large amount of chakra into the multiple Kage clone jutsu, creating over 100 Kage clones in one go. Haku was startled, and Sasuke was completely stunned. Over 100 Narutos, along with Sasuke and Haku, were all crowded into the narrow space of the ice mirrors. How about that? Naruto's real body, squeezed to the point of having difficulty breathing, said, This move is called the Big City Subway Squeezing Jutsu. I dare you to say you're not scared. Don't think that only you ninjas live in pain every day. At this moment, Haku was tightly squeezed among more than a dozen of Naruto's Kage clones. No matter how hard Haku struggled, there wasn't an inch of space for him to move as if he were in ocean of Naruto's. Naruto! Sasuke's handsome face was distorted from being squeezed, and he said painfully, Like this? I can't use fire release, can't form hand seals. What time is it now? There are no good conditions for you now, Naruto said. Hurry up and shoot fire to blow up that ice mirror. Sasuke couldn't release the fire release for a long time. Naruto angrily said, Sasuke, you graduated from the Ninja Academy with full marks, after all. Fire release. Great fireball jutsu. Stimulated by Naruto's words, Sasuke's strong sense of pride forced him to force out a mouthful of fire. Using fire release in the narrow space actually increased the power of the ninjutsu by 1 rank, causing a violent explosion. However, most of the things blown up were Naruto's Kage clones. Run quickly! After blowing up the ice mirror, Naruto's first words were to urge Sasuke to escape with him. Sasuke was taken aback. Now that they had escaped, the young man's strength was greatly reduced without the ice mirrors. Moreover, Sasuke now had the Sharingan. If he coordinated well with Naruto, they could easily counter him. Why do we have to run? Facing Sasuke's question, Naruto thought to himself, I planned all this just to help you awaken your Sharingan. I never meant to fight to the death. Now that Sasuke has successfully awakened the Sharingan, what are we still doing here if we don't leave? Naruto ignored Sasuke and quickly ran forward. Sasuke had no choice but to follow Naruto's steps. Unconsciously, Sasuke had already recognized Naruto. In a ninja team, the one who usually takes control of the situation is usually recognized as the team leader by default. And at this moment, Sasuke had subconsciously regarded Naruto as the leader of Team 7. Sasuke ran up and asked, Why are we running away? What's your idea? Aren't we going to take care of those guys chasing us? Naruto turned around and shouted to Haku, Haku! Jonin Kakashi is in that direction. If you got the balls, come and chase us. Then, the 3 of us will team up against you. If you're not afraid of death, just come. Haku stopped in his tracks and stood still. Hurry up and find the billionaire Gato. Maybe Zabuza Momochi is about to die at his hands. Naruto shouted again. Naruto, what on earth are you talking about? Sasuke clearly didn't understand. At this moment, inside a nearby fishing shed, Kakashi was alone, staring blankly at the hemp rope on the floor. This rope was originally for tying up the injured Zabuza Momochi, but now Zabuza was nowhere to be found. Kakashi showed a worried look. The demon man, Zabuza's escape was hard to tell if it was good or bad. It seemed this mission was really full of twists and turns. Zabuza Momochi was a ninja from Kiri in the Land of Water. In the Ninja Academy graduation exam when he was a kid, he single-handedly wiped out all his classmates, getting rid of all his competitors and becoming the top of the class. Since then, he had earned the title of the Demon Man. Later, as an adult, he failed to assassinate the fourth Mizukage and defected from Kiri. From then on, he became a homeless drifter. Meanwhile, Naruto and Haku were staring each other down from afar, glaring at each other, and neither dared to move. Haku was the first to speak. Is Zabuza Momochi still alive? Yeah, Naruto said. He's still alive now, but I'm not sure about later. Haku immediately turned around and left, leaving Naruto and Sasuke standing there. Sasuke said dissatisfiedly, we could have beaten him with just the two of us. Why'd you let him go? Have you forgotten our mission this time? Naruto said with a grin. It's just AC rank task. We didn't make much money off that old man. Why should we go all out? Sasuke was rendered speechless. He was a bit conflicted inside. Naruto was obviously very strong, but why is he being a coward now? It didn't seem like a ninja at all. Why did you learn ninjutsu? Sasuke asked. Isn't learning ninjutsu for battles? To kill those you want to kill. Well, let me think. Naruto frowned and said. The essence of a ninja is trickery. Ninjutsu is a kind of trickery jutsu. If I can fool the right people, my jutsu is a success. Sasuke completely didn't understand and scolded. What trickery jutsu? How can a trickery jutsu beat an enemy? Just wait and see, Naruto said meaningfully. The billionaire Gato probably won't make it through tonight. We don't even need to do anything. This mission's completed ahead of schedule. Naruto looked at the rising full moon in the distance and said, in a ninja battle, it doesn't have to be close-range combat or a crazy flurry of ninjutsu. The scariest ninjutsu is to mess with people's minds. At this moment, Naruto remembered what had happened a few hours ago. Naruto went to the billionaire Gato's base alone. First, he used the transformation jutsu to turn into Haku's appearance. After Naruto turned into Haku, he came in front of Gato. Gato was a huge fat guy, decked out in gold and silver, oozing the aura of a rich guy. There was a group of over 100 thugs around Gato. Gato had no idea how much money he spent every day to keep these thugs around. Gato saw Haku coming back and asked, how's the mission going? Did you kill Tazuna? Why isn't Zabuza here? Naruto, who had transformed into Haku's appearance, said, the mission failed. Tazuna is still alive. Zabuza got seriously injured. He'll come back later to recover. Gato bit the cigar in his. Chapter 20. The Sharingan is truly beautiful. No way I'll pay more. Thugs raised like pigs. Do you think you can kill Tazuna from the hands of Konoha ninjas? Naruto, transformed into Haku's appearance, sneered. You're just daydreaming. There were sounds of swords being drawn all around. Dozens of glinting katana were pointed at Naruto. If you want to kill Tazuna, I have a good suggestion. Naruto, in Haku's form, slowly approached Gato and suddenly threw several shurikens. Naruto didn't want to kill Gato, so he threw the shurikens at a slightly deviated angle. In Gato's panicked gaze, two of the most skilled thugs rushed forward and blocked all the shurikens for Gato. Gato was still in a state of shock. When he came to his senses, he realized that the one who looked like Haku, actually Naruto and Haku's guys, had escaped. Cut that brat to pieces. I'll use his flesh as fish bait. Gato roared. Over 100 thugs rushed out and surrounded Gato's stronghold, searching high and low for Haku's traces. Naruto, and Haku's guys, ran all the way and reached the fishing shed where Zabuza was being held. First, he untied the bandage covering Zabuza's face, then pretended to check Zabuza's wounds and secretly stained the bandage with blood. How did you escape? Zabuza was severely injured, but when he saw that it was Haku, he felt a bit more at ease. I'll rescue you first. Haku untied the ropes binding Zabuza and supported the seriously injured Zabuza out of the fishing shed. They had only walked a few steps when an unusual noise came from behind the fishing shed, which startled both Zabuza and Haku. You go first, Haku said reluctantly. I'll hold them off. Maybe the Konoha ninjas have noticed something. No, Zabuza said. You have to come with me. Have you forgotten my past promise? Haku said. Please think of me as a tool. You gave meaning to my life when. Zabuza was overjoyed. Haku was just a kid he picked up on the street. He thought the kid had some value, so he took him in, taught him ninjutsu, trained him, and honed his killing skills, hoping that he could be helpful at a crucial time. Okay. Zabuza turned around and walked away. After walking about 10 steps, Zabuza stopped. After hesitating for a while, he disappeared into the forest. The Haku who let Zabuza go was actually Naruto in disguise. Naruto stared at Zabuza's departing back. He thought to himself, Zabuza, will your heart ache when you leave alone while the one pretending to be Haku is willing to hold off the enemies for you? After Zabuza left, Naruto ran to the back of the fishing shed. It turned out that Naruto had just set up a simple booby trap. When someone came out of the fishing shed, it would trigger this trap. The trap would shoot kunai towards the window of the fishing shed, thus causing the commotion. With the commotion created by a single trap, Naruto deceived Zabuza into thinking there were pursuers, making Zabuza return to Gato's stronghold first. At this time, Naruto, with the blood-stained bandage, came to the fishing shed where Haku was being held. Naruto used the transformation jutsu again and this time transformed into Sasuke's appearance. After transforming into Sasuke's likeness, Naruto continued to act the part, portraying Sasuke as a ruthless individual. In order to gain fame, he even intended to kill Zabuza to make a name for himself. This deception left Haku's heart broken, which led to the subsequent battle between Haku and Sasuke, successfully awakening Sasuke's Sharingan. A simple ninjutsu, transformation jutsu. This was just an exam requirement for graduating from the Ninja Academy in Konoha Village. Almost every ninja could perform it. However, when Naruto used it, the transformation jutsu became a terrifying technique to manipulate people's minds. Under Naruto's plan, he not only helped Sasuke awaken his Sharingan but also broke the alliance between Gato and Zabuza. He made the enemy factions turn against each other until they were completely destroyed. Back to Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke couldn't understand Naruto's intention at this time. Naruto didn't want to explain too much, so he said, "You'll know tomorrow." What on earth is going on? Sasuke felt quite frustrated. He was just practicing on wooden stakes in the forest when he unexpectedly encountered Haku, was unexpectedly attacked by Haku, and the battle unexpectedly ended. Naruto got closer to Sasuke to observe his Sharingan up close. It was a very beautiful pair of eyes. Since Naruto was too close, Sasuke blushed a little. He shifted his gaze and asked, "What are you doing?" "The Sharingan is really beautiful." At this moment, a bold idea popped into Naruto's mind. Soon, an unexpected guest would pay a visit to Konoha. That guest was extremely eager for the Sharingan. Maybe this was an opportunity. Sasuke's face turned even redder. Being complimented by Naruto on the beauty of his eyes vaguely felt like a confession. Sasuke was a bit dazed and quickly took 2 steps back to keep a distance from Naruto. "Ha ha ha." Naruto laughed to ease the awkwardness and said, "Let's go back." On the way back, Naruto looked up at the full moon in the sky and knew that in some corner of this ninja world, there was also someone looking up at the moon. That person was Zetsu. Zetsu was extremely weak, not even good at ninjutsu. However, he was a master at manipulating people's minds and sowing discord. Despite being a weakling, he was a great threat to the ninja world. Many powerful ninjas had been manipulated by him. Naruto gazed at the full moon, his heart filled with restlessness. He truly hoped that the confrontation with Zetsu would come soon. The next morning, the sun was shining brightly. Naruto was in a great mood. He had breakfast with everyone and waited for good news. Kakashi had recovered sufficiently to get out of bed and have breakfast with everyone. During the meal, Kakashi announced some bad news. "Everyone, listen up. Zabuza and Haku have escaped. From now on, we have to stay more vigilant until Tazuna leads the villagers to finish building the bridge." "Oh no!" Just then, the door was suddenly pushed open. Tazuna rushed in and excitedly said, "Gato is dead." "What?" Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura were shocked at the same time. "How did he die?" Sasuke quickly asked. "Based on the news from the city, it seems that he was killed by the rogue ninja he hired," Tazuna said. "I'm not sure about the exact reason. Anyway, Zabuza and the young man not only killed Gato but also wiped out his group of thugs. Gato's stronghold is now littered with corpses, and the blood has dyed the entire stronghold red." Tazuna said, "There was a passerby who saw Zabuza killing folks then. It was seriously terrifying. He was like a fiend from hell." "What about Zabuza's whereabouts?" Kakashi asked. "I don't know." Tazuna said, "After Zabuza killed Gato, his whereabouts became unknown. Will he come after us for revenge?" Sakura was so scared that she could hardly hold a spoon. It was really an uneasy breakfast. "Zabuza shouldn't come," Naruto said leisurely while having breakfast. "We took on Uncle Tazuna's mission to protect him, and Zabuza took on Gato's mission to kill him. That's why we had a mission intersection with Zabuza. The guy who gave out the mission, Gato, is gone. Naturally, the contracted ninja won't come to carry out the mission. We've temporarily lost touch with Zabuza." Sakura breathed a sigh of relief after hearing this. Kakashi also thought Naruto made sense, but everyone didn't dare to relax. They spent more